Good afternoon and welcome to Say Newsfile. I'm Ivan Ivanov. Matt Fetinko will have sports coming up, but first let's check up with Megan Brennan with the weather.
Hi, Matt and Ivan. So it was a beautiful morning and early afternoon. The clouds have rolled in a little bit, bringing with it some cooler winds. We are off from our record high in 1889, which was 20 degrees, and even last year it was 19. We're only at 11, so pretty far off from that. But overall, it's pretty seasonal for this time of year, and I'll get into that a little bit later on.
Thanks, Megan. Calgary Flames are going to play tonight. Can you tell us more about it?
Yeah, Ivan, they're playing the Nashville Predators, which is a game that has huge playoff implications. Also, the Calgary Hitmen are gearing up for their playoff series against Regina. The Toronto Raptors are in action tonight against Miami. Serge Ibaka will be serving his one-game suspension for fighting in his last game. And the CFL inducted some new Hall of Famers. I'll tell you who made the cut a little later on in sports.
Okay, perfect. Calgary Stampede Chuck Wagon Tarp auction is tonight. The auction is always a good indicator of our city's economic situation. Our agriculture specialist Kara Oosterhuis is live at the Stampede Park tonight. Kara, it should be an exciting night there.
Oh yes, definitely. People are starting to walk around. They're excited. I'm down here at Stampede Park. It is the 2017 canvas auction, and people are dancing. People are looking around. Heck, I can hardly keep from dancing. It should be a good night.
Event, I believe in it. It supports, the Western heritage and values, and it's a great event for the city. It generates a lot of extra revenue and promotes what we all about and how the city has been built.
The Calgary Stampede Chuck Wagon auction helps to generate Calgary's economy, but it also helps out the racers, as 80% of the money that is generated goes to the drivers to help offset their costs on the road. The horses are treated with great care throughout the circuit, and the costs can get high. Many of these drivers spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on their rigs. Costs include the wagon itself, the horses, mostly thoroughbreds, the tack, and care.
Every dollar we make here, this sale goes back into these horses, so it really sets up your whole year. For the care of these animals, goes back into massages for the horses, dental work, everything, right? It just helps us get down the road.
This can also be a real indicator of how the economy is turning here in Calgary. Buying a tarp can cost anywhere from $50,000 to $250,000. Most of the competitors in the Rangeland Derby come from a long line of chuck wagon racers, and they take pride in becoming a part of what their family has done.
My dad, he ran for 30 or so years, so I grew up in it and pretty much just took over the lines when he was retired. Once he retired, so that's pretty much all around it my whole life.
The legendary Kelly Sutherland will be here tonight as he does his last year tonight. He's got his black hat on and his iconic feathers sticking out of it. So it'll be interesting to see what his canvas actually goes for tonight as people will be bidding on it. And last year there was $2.3 million generated from this event, so they're hoping to even reach upwards of that this year. So it'll be very interesting to see what tonight is and how it goes.
Kara Oosterhuis reporting from Stampede Park Studio. The auction gets underway at 5. The University of Calgary is getting an upgrade. Grants from the government will focus on the renovation of the McCain complex. Our reporter Ali Kovacevic has more.
The Alberta government is investing in education, and more than $270 million is going to the UFC over the next 4 years. This investment is set to renew nursing and social work areas around campus for students. The 13-story McKimmey Tower will be fully redeveloped with 500 new spaces. This renovation will also address building and maintenance issues.
Prioritizing infrastructure dollars where they're going to be best used is work that's always ongoing with the department.
On top of the redevelopment plan at U of C, Minister Schmidt does focus on mental health support programs for students.
University of Calgary student Eric Scott says he's happy about the boost to mental health problems.
Pretty common for a lot of students to get really stressed, especially around busy times of years like midterms or final exams. So for them to have all the resources they need, well, for us to have all the resources we need is really an excellent thing.
Everything is still in the planning phase. Minister Schmidt has received the panel's recommendations and is working on how to implement them. The University of Calgary is expecting roughly $420 million to be contributed to Alberta's economy and more than 843 years of employment based on the construction costs. For State Newsfile, I'm Ali Kavasic.
Summer is just around the corner, and as always, students will be looking for jobs. The UFC Career Fair is not a stranger to the students that spend their semesters inside of Macewen Hall. Career Services hosts 5 fairs throughout the academic year. Places like Sunshines have not taken advantage of the summer fair, but now they're open all year around. Businesses like Sunnyside or Heritage Park always have a high turnout this time of the year.
Excited about having an opportunity to work in our national park, especially during the 150th anniversary. It's just an opportunity that you can't find elsewhere in Western Canada right now.
Students attending the fair are pleased to have an easy face-to-face access with recruiters, and there is always a big turnout. A Calgary woman was found guilty of murdering her own son has filed an appeal that claims the judge showed Vias crying during the trial. The judge sentenced Emil and Rodica Radida to life in prison with no chance at parole for 25 years, last month for killing their 15-year-old diabetic son. Rodica Radida now says she's not guilty of murdering her son because the judge did not consider all the evidence. British police have identified 52-year-old Khalid Masood as the person who drove his car into the crowd yesterday, killing 3 people. It is the deadliest terror attack in London in 12 years. Scotland Yard says 8 other people have been arrested and they have searched 6 homes. Prime Minister Theresa May says the attacker was British and had been under investigation for extremism. ISIS has also claimed responsibility for the attack. It's a new work world, and that means all stereotypes may be on the way out. Some Canadian employers have required a dress code including high heels for women, but now in most provinces they would be unable to make that demand. Instead, they have to give them the option of wearing other type of appropriate footwear. Gender stereotypes can be found in all kinds of workplaces, where some women feel the added pressure to spend more money and time on their looks than men. Some businesses says the focus should be on the well-being and happiness of their employees instead of sex appeal.
It's serious injury, and I'm completely against that, completely against that. In 40 years, I never asked my staff to wear high heel. They wear high heel, they go home, they change their color.
BC's Premier Christy Clark recently made comments about the topic, saying they will look at finding the most effective way to make the fix, which could include change to regulations. It remains to be seen if Alberta will follow suit. The SEITSA elections are underway here on campus. SEITSA is in place to improve the lives of SEIT students and give them a voice. There are 4 positions on the Executive Council that you can choose to run for. All of the positions are full-time and hope to have the support of the student body.
I have experience working with students, have a degree in political science. This is what I'm passionate on it, and I'm the best choice to represent students.
Nominations period will close today and the elections are the next week. It's a big year on campus as SEIT continues to celebrate in its 100th anniversary. Through the years, many students have walked in through the doors with a passion for success. The Alumni Awards are back, and our Newsfile Brian Smith has more about the prestigious awards.
For some, SEIT was where their parents went to school. Buildings may look different, but the education has always been top of the class. This centennial year marks the 30th year of honoring graduates with Alumni Awards. The Distinguished Alumni Award and the Outstanding Young Alumni Award is a way to recognize a SEIT alumnus who has made exceptional professional achievements and continues to make contributions in the community.
They represent the best of Calgary, the best of Canada, and in some cases the best of the world. They're out there innovating, changing things, doing things in the community, and making industry a better place to be.
The Outstanding Young Alumni Award is given to someone who has accomplished more in their early career than most achieve in their lifetime. Some of our past radio, television, broadcast news students have been awarded this honor. In 2016, Ron Tarrant was the recipient. He is now a producer for The Howard Stern Show.
The world of Howard Stern. I think I've made my mark on radio. Never stops.
28 million people every single day are listening to what Ron creates. And for him to have his production on that type of stage, I would equate it to something like a 3-star Michelin chef.
In 2011, Shiva Jahancha won. She's a television reporter who has created a number of documentaries with a connection to the Calgary community.
I was really proud. I was very proud, but I think for me, it was that I got to tell those stories.
The deadline to nominate a graduate is the end of the month. The 2017 Alumni Award recipients will be representing SAIT's name as the institution enters its second century, a place where originals are made. For SAIT Newsfile, I'm Brianne Smith.
The Calgary Zoo is launching a contest where the public can vote between 7 Canadian animals to pick the best for the 150th anniversary. It is a fun contest that will start a celebration of the wonderful Canadian species that are also part of Canada's identity. The grizzly bear or the beaver are 2 of the 7 animals to choose from. The reason for the contest is to educate the public about the iconic animals of the country.
Way for us to open the conversation and talk about species at risk here in Canada. We know that there are about 521 species within Canada that are currently at risk. So we want to have a good conversation with Canadians, asking them to help us vote and name a new national animal, but also to start the conversation about species at risk in our own backyards.
Canadians can vote at calgaryzoo.com/greatest animal. Those are today's top stories. We'll have your full forecast for you after the break. But first, Megan Brennan has a look at what's going on around Calgary this week.
Kick off spring with a Grow and Learn square foot gardening and seed starting gardening classes and seminars. The event is aimed at both beginner and experienced gardeners. For more information, visit poppyinnovations.ca. Cater to your artistic side and do some good at the same time at this Paint Night fundraiser hosted by the Calgary Neuropathy Association. For more information or to buy your tickets, visit paintnight.com. See what Calgary's up-and-coming young artists have produced during the school year at the ACAD Spring Show and Sale. Browse through handmade pieces and admire the student body's talent. Market Collective returns to the Chinese Cultural Center for the 3 days at the end of the month. There will be 8 artists that have never sold their products at the market. Studio Bell, home of the National Music Center, introduces the launching of a new regular music program. For more information, visit studiobell.ca.
People think that porn will make you happy for all eternity.
That you'll be popular with a crowd at a party.
That you will fit in with all the cool kids.
But in reality,
you could end up like me.
Don't let pornography control your life. Visit fightthenewdrug.org to learn more.
I thought I had respect for myself. The wrong decisions of late nights spent in bars led to calling the streets of Calgary my home. It's not my choice to be here. I feel invisible.
Years of growing hope for the community continues to expand.
So I'm back inside, a little bit warmer now without that breeze, but overall it was a nice day in Calgary. Those seasonal temperatures are right where we are, so it's great. Let's check out the West Coast now. Vancouver is experiencing its rain all the time for them. They got 60 millimeters yesterday, but now they could get up to 100 millimeters today. The sun has kind of come out a little bit more, as yesterday it was clouds all over the map. Edmonton's sitting at 11, Regina's at 13, and Winnipeg's at 7. When we move into the Toronto, Ontario, Quebec, and Nova Scotia region, there is a high pressure system coming in, bringing with it some wonky weather. So as you can see in Toronto, it's raining, and then in Montreal, it's snowing. What's happening there is the high pressure system is bringing in some of those temperatures, making it a chance for freezing rain because there's so much more moisture. Nova Scotia, Halifax is at 2 with some sun. They get the sun of the whole thing. But let's see what the resorts can expect with their sun.
The sun is out in Palm Springs and a comfortable 25 degrees. Barbados is seeing nothing but clouds. Cancun and Honolulu are both sitting in the high 20s with a partly cloudy sky. Natural fireworks are in the sky tonight at Disney World, while Orlando sits through scattered thunderstorms. And Las Vegas is a sunny 23.
So in Calgary today, the high was 12, so we're just 1 away from that. That 23 kilometer per hour wind came in, bringing with it some chillier temperatures. There is a few clouds in the sky, but they will clear up a bit tonight. As we look into the Alberta map, there are some sun in it. There are some clouds as well. Those won't go away. Fort McMurray sitting at 7, Grand Prairie at 6. Those two have been staying at pretty steady temperatures near each other this entire week. When you move down south, you can start seeing a little bit higher temperatures, but the sun kind of goes away as well. Red Deer's at 9, Banff at 6, Calgary at 11, so we're doing pretty good, but that wind does make it feel a little bit chillier. Medicine Hat is at 15, which is our highest temperature on the map. Banff is really getting those spring temperatures, which is meaning that the snow and ski season may be coming to an end, but it is nice to go visit the mountains there. When we take a look at the 5-day forecast now, it is sun throughout this entire week. The clouds do make an appearance again on Monday, but again tomorrow it'll be a low of only 0, so staying out of those negatives. Moving on into the weekend, the negatives do come back a bit when those clouds start to appear again. But now let's take a look at the resorts. The snow.
Variable conditions at Lake Louise, cloudy and -7. With 6 fresh centimeters of snow, you can enjoy all 10 open lifts. It's a chilly day today on the Sunshine Slopes. With 4 fresh centimeters of snow last night, head out and enjoy the variable conditions and its 220 centimeter base. There's some clouds in the sky at Mount Norquay with variable conditions. 52 trails are ready for action and all lifts are open. Nikiska has some hard-packed powder and has 4 out of its 6 lifts open for business, with a 142 centimeter base and a partly cloudy sky. Castle Mountain is the place to ski, with spring snow conditions making every turn and carve a perfect one. Nearly all the lifts are open and the temperature is sitting at 0 with nothing but sun. Marmot Basin has some powder to shred on top of its 156 centimeter base. 7 out of 7 lifts are open, but bundle up, it's sitting at -7.
Okay, Matt, the men's basketball Trojans team didn't win the last game at Nationals, but do they have a good season? Or?
Yeah, they just because they didn't necessarily win the big one, Ivan, doesn't mean it was a failure of a season. And I'll get right into that.
Okay.
The St. Trojans have not won an ACAC championship in 16 years. After a 6-win season last year, would anyone have predicted the Trojans to be league champions? Troy Durrell reports on Saint's impressive bounce-back season.
The St. Trojans men's basketball team's successful season came to an end over the weekend. Playing in the Canadian Collegiate Athletic Association National Championship bronze medal semifinal, the Trojans were beaten 91-85 by the Vancouver Island University Mariners. St. came into the tournament as the 5th seed and finished the event in 5th place. This season was a successful one for the Trojans, who won their first ACAC championship since 2000, but there were ups and downs over the course of the year.
Kind of had a whirlwind season, bringing all the guys in. We were a relatively new team. We only had, I think, 5 returners, and most of our starters weren't even there last year, but we got clicking during the second half and really made things happen.
St. finished the CCAA National Tournament with a record of 1-2, with their only win coming against the Mount Allison Mounties 88-75. If all goes to plan, the Trojans will return their core group of players, and forward Murphy Bea feels the sky's the limit for his team.
Looking for next season, definitely our goal is to win gold in nationals. We're not looking for, we are looking to win again for ACAC, the gold championship, but our main goal is to get to national final.
The season was a major turnaround from a year ago where the Trojans went 6-15 and were at the bottom of the ACAC standings. The Trojans could return up to 14 players to the team next season and not only are looking to repeat their win, but are looking to add a national championship to their trophy case. For St. Newsfile, I'm Troy Durrell.
Sticking with basketball, and the Toronto Raptors, who are back in action tonight, taking on the Miami Heat. The Raptors are 1-1 this year against the Heat and will meet them again in the last home game of the season. Toronto has all but guaranteed a playoff spot and is just one game behind Washington for third seed in the Eastern Conference. Of the 11 games left in their schedule, Toronto will face 8 teams who could be jockeying for positions as well. The Calgary Flames are in a heated divisional battle in terms of positioning, and with only 9 games left, the dream of home ice advantage is no longer in their own hands. Jacob LeBlanc is in Sate's newsroom with more on the Flames as they jockey for position. Jacob?
Matt, with 9 games left in the regular season, the Calgary Flames certainly heated up at the right time. They're going to need to stay hot tonight as they're taking on the Nashville Predators. Calgary has been good all season, but head coach Glenn Glutzian has said this game is going to be a very like playoff atmosphere. Nashville is only 3 points behind the Flames in the standings, so Calgary will have to work hard tonight if they want to retake a divisional playoff spot rather than just a wild card position. It's looking like Chad Johnson will get the start tonight after Brian Elliott's personal 11-game winning streak was snapped against Washington on Tuesday.
For Jacob, what's the rest of the season looking like?
Unfortunately, Matt, the season isn't going to get much easier for the Flames. After tonight, they head to St. Louis, who even after trading Kevin Shattenkirk at the trade deadline, find themselves in a similar situation as the Predators. Then a 4-game homestand against Colorado and all 3 California teams. The last home game of the season will be April 2nd against Anaheim. A California road trip is how the Flames will end their season. First in Anaheim, then to LA, and the season finale in San Jose against the Sharks. So as you can see, Matt, a lot of crucial divisional games before the regular season ends for Calgary.
Jacob LeBlanc reporting live from Sate's newsroom. The Calgary Hitmen clinched the final wildcard spot with the weekend sweep of the Kootenay Ice. The boys took home the home to secure the 8th seed in the Eastern Conference and will face the top-ranked Regina Pats. The Hitmen will be in tough as they finished the season 42 points behind the Pats in the Eastern Conference, but won the most recent matchup 6-3 on March 4th. The boys have virtually been in a playoff-like atmosphere for the better part of the last few weeks of the season.
You know what, I think for us it's just sticking to the basics. I think in the back half of the season here we've really started to find some consistency within our game, and I mean playoff hockey is a totally different animal than the regular season, so I think everyone starts in a clean slate, but we're excited to get at it.
The first 2 games of the series will take place this weekend in Regina, while the series will transfer back to Calgary next week with Game 3 and 4 going Tuesday and Thursday night. It was a big night for American baseball as the United States won their first ever World Baseball Classic title off the back of a Toronto Blue Jays pitcher. Marcus Stroman had a night to remember, to say the least, going 6 innings without surrendering a single run. The Jays righty was one of 4 pitchers used by the U.S. to shut out Puerto Rico 8-0. Prior to last night, Stroman appeared in 2 of this year's WBC games, first against the Dominican where he held them scoreless in a 4 2/3 innings, and more recently taking a loss against Puerto Rico in round-robin play. This MLB season, he will join Jay Happ, Aaron Sanchez, and Marco Estrada to make up the Blue Jays starting rotation. It's CFL week, and the biggest announcement of the week is what most people are saying is the greatest Canadian Football Hall of Fame class of all time. The class includes Anthony Calvillo, Geroy Simon, Kelvin Anderson, Mike O'Shea as players, while Stan Schwartz and Brian Tauris are being inducted as builders. Calvillo is the only player to register over 400 TD strikes and has 3 Grey Cups to his name. Simon also has 3 Grey Cups and is also the league's all-time leader in receiving yards. O'Shea boasts the most career tackles of any Canadian-born player at 1,151 and is currently the head coach of the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Tauris coached the University of Saskatchewan Huskies for 32 years, winning 3 Vanier Cups in 9 appearances. And that's sports, Ivan.
Okay, thank you, Matt. After the break, we will look at how the tango has become a weekend activity for some.
Calgary police respond to 2 calls every hour of every day related to domestic violence.
Homefront, a nonprofit organization, works to ensure that victims have the support, information, and resources they need to break the cycle of abuse and live positive and healthy futures.
It takes a community to end domestic violence. Visit homefrontcalgary.com and help our city.
The Canadian Parks and Wilderness Society has been protecting more than 1 million square kilometers of Canadian wilderness for over 50 years. The Southern Alberta chapter has been at the forefront of this movement from the beginning, partnering with local communities, organizations, different levels of government, and individuals much like yourself. We're always looking for more support. Help us help Canada by donating, fundraising, or volunteering today.
For many Calgarians across the city, the idea of learning to dance the Argentinian tango may be appealing, but also a little nerve-wracking for others. It is how they like to spend their Saturday nights.
I think tango is very special, especially when you dance with someone special.
It's logical for an engineer, and it's easy for me to pick up compared to salsa or other dances which has a lot of movements involved.
It's very passionate, and you need to, in any dance where the gentleman needs to lead you, you need to trust. But tango, I think it's one of those dances where it's especially emphasized.
If you dance with someone special, she's in your arm, and we're holding up each other, and then sometimes even closing eyes and listening to the music and walking together. That's a wonderful feeling for someone, with someone special. I think most people have never even danced tango before or even danced before, but I like those people who start gaining some little bit of confidence by learning something that they were uncomfortable with. And I'm really happy that they make some improvement in their lives.
I love it. Leo and Marina, they are great instructors, and they're always asking all questions and addressing issues. Yeah, it's great.
I think social tango is the easiest dance of all. Basically, you need to walk left, walk right, walk left, walk right. And if you can walk on the street, you can always dance tango. Unlike other dances, tango does not have this quick, slow, or anything that someone else tells you to do. And you can do it on your own timing. And so basically, even if you're musically deaf or physically deaf, you can still dancing tango.
Take the first step and see if you like it or not. If you don't try, you'll never know if you liked it or not.
Thank you.
Standing 3 feet tall and weighing about 10 pounds, a massive chicken has gone viral, and some people are calling it terrifying.
Have you all seen this video?
No.
What is that? It's a chicken.
That's not real.
I know the feet look like it's as big as my hands. Do you call them feet on chickens? I don't
Is
really.
it feet? Is it plucker feet?
I don't know. There is that chicken. Look at the chicken behind it, just to give you reference of how.
I think he's taller than me.
Oh my, yeah, seriously.
I don't know. I've had some roosters in the past, like as my own pet.
Okay.
And I'm not sure what I would do if it was that big.
After the video went viral, the bird was identified as a Brahma chicken. The Brahma chicken is an heritage breed and was once one of the most popular chickens available on the market, being raised for both meat and eggs.
I feel like that one chicken could make like a whole family have all that meat.
Yeah, can you imagine the egg? It's like
yeah, seriously, the egg would be bigger than our heads.
Yeah, it's like a huge breakfast. Okay, well, that's it. Thank you. See you next time.